Oh my gosh, you almost caught me doing voice exercises. If you don't know, when I was in high school, like most of my uh, reminiscence would be mostly about high school. Forget university, forget every other stuff. I used to be in the choir, so we used to do voice exercises if we are going to go sing. Sometimes we would use voice exercises if we would have like a class or oral speech, oral speech, or when we have show and tell. But show and tell is mostly in primary school. I don't remember doing a show and tell in high school, but every time when I went to, or any of us had like oral speeches, you would hear us go, oh, yeah, we sound very uh funny. I mean, there are other sounds, almost like a sound of a dolphin. Yeah, because you have to have like different kinds of pitches when you talk, including when you're telling a story, how the flow of the story should sound like. It's for emotions, right? Because at the end of the day, you have to evoke emotion. Not only emotion, you have to evoke attention from the people that are listening together with engagement. It's funny thing that engagement is something that I've always known. It's just that I was not of course, we're not content creators, but as pupils, as we were called, not students, we needed to do things that were. I remember engaging. This word engaging, it always sounded familiar to me. Mm-mm. I've known about it from back in high school because after your oral speech, guess what? There's going to be Q&A, and that's where the engagement is. This is where also your IQ gets tested by the person that is busy, whether that's a teacher or whoever. Sometimes they bring like somebody that is strange to listen to our oral speeches and things like that. I don't know. Hi friend, what's up, friend? How are you, my friend? So things like that. So when I pressed live, I was busy with my yo, yeah, all that stuff. But before you start thinking, oh, Glenn, I can't sing to save my life, especially when I'm older, because you know what happens to your esophagus, your lungs. Things no longer work like how they did when you were a teenager. So, anyways, let's put that aside and let's talk about today's topic. The reason why I'm doing today's topic, it is born out of our conversation yesterday with mental health issues, and I feel like perhaps, oh no, I have an appointment, you guys. Okay, I'll let me get this. Hello, hello.
Hey, Clantis.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
Very
What's up,
well.
man? Good to meet you.
Yeah, you too. Listen. Oh my gosh. Look what's happening right now.
Are you on a call? You recording?
I'm on a live.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Hey, you can finish and we can talk later.
Okay, cool, cool. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm so sorry. I'm mixing everything up.
No, it's no problem, man. I understand completely.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
So
I'll definitely let you know immediately when
send
I'm done.
yeah, send me a message and we'll reconnect.
Okay, cool. Say hi to your wife for me.
All right, we'll do. Bye
Okay,
bye.
cool. Bye. Double booked myself. Double booked myself. So this is, I told you guys that I'm getting a lot of African American friends, people. No, let me just put it this way. This is somebody I would have had a conversation for the first time, him and his wife. He has some questions that he needs to ask us, regarding stuff that is happening in South Africa. A lot of African Americans are taking an interest in South Africa, and so they want to come and live here. So, as a South African citizen who's also on social media like YouTube, they want to connect, and then ooh, work is work. Hey, I work at work, right? I work at work. But anyway, so we were just going to have a consultation. I know I said 8 p.m. on my side, and I completely forgot. And this is the second time. This is the second time. But anyways, let's get here so that I can get to him and then get them to South Africa as soon as possible. But other than that, guys, like I said, the topic today, the best part about being a loner is born out of the conversation we had yesterday about mental health issues and etc. and so on. And I felt like, I also kind of like cheated you. And because the reason why I feel like I cheated you is because some people or most people think that being alone or loneliness is on the negative side. It is a response to trauma, it's a response to fear. Yes, everything does have a root cause, and definitely my side of the story as well. There are some things that have a root cause. I told you about a great friendship that broke up, but I didn't tell you that prior to my friendship breaking up, I was broken up with somebody that didn't even know that I was terribly in love with them. Like terribly in love with them, and for some reason they picked it up and then made that call like, hey, listen, I know how you feel, da 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 da. I, I'm just not interested. Can you imagine my heart being crushed? And then 2 months down the line, then my best friend and I's relationship also, like, it exploded, and I was left thinking, wait, this is a joke. Wait, whoa, what's happening? And so, of course, there are root causes for many things, and the reason why other people um, uh, uh, they chose loneliness over giving themselves a second chance at friendship, second chance at love, second chance at the world and people, etc., and so on. But with me, when it happened, of course, I was spun out of control psychologically and all of that stuff. I was a mess for a good 7 years or so. But with the love, because this was the very first time I fell in love. You know how they say about love that your first love is the most toughest to get rid of? I only managed to get rid of that love 21 years later. Oh, yes. 21 years. I still held on to, I don't know what I was holding on to. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, man, you wasted 21 years of your life when you could have found somebody who would have loved you far more than this individual would have. But I think I may have a fragile heart or fragile emotion. I don't know. I'm still on a journey of self discovery every single time I discover something new about myself. But I did take a deliberate, which is kind of like when I was thinking about it last night, I was like, no, no, no. I did not take a journey of self discovery voluntarily. It happened while I was running away. I'm a runaway, by the way, guys. I am a runaway. I think I did say yesterday that whenever you ask for my number, I ghost you. Like I run away from you. Like I just run away. So I noticed that this is not just that. I am a person that runs away. But in running away, I never stopped and thought that, listen, whatever it is you're running away, it's you. You're the person whom you are running away from. Can you stop for a second and then open yourself up, face your fears, face your truths, look at yourself in the mirror, and then talk to yourself? And that's how the journey of self discovery started with me. I mean, I was born in KwaZulu Natal, Durban to be specific, and then because of the political violence, black on black violence during the 80s, like excuse me, mid 80s, my family being part of the what now is a possibly a former governing party of South Africa. My parents were in there as Mkhonto Wesizwe and whatnot, not and all that stuff. and intel came by that we were set to, by the other party, so we were fled to Eswatini. Back then it was called Swaziland. Today it's called Eswatini, where we lived for 5 years and things like that. I think maybe also those things are contributing because I was yanked out of my the life that I knew when I was growing up. Like, this is my life, and now suddenly I'm living something totally different, a different language, even though the language is almost similar, but it was still different. So the those are the things that I needed to face as myself uh, when I was in KwaZulu Natal, because in 1993 we moved to Johannesburg. Like this, I still remember it was Christmas Eve of 1993 when my family moved to Johannesburg from Swaziland, like directly from Swaziland. We didn't even go to KwaZulu Natal back to our home. We came just here. So I grew up in Johannesburg. I went to school in Johannesburg. I did everything, university in Johannesburg. But when I think my sister then passed on, the one that comes after me, she passed on in 2006. I believe I could not handle that because I was already going through what I considered a breakup, like a double breakup. I was a mess, and then this happens to my sister. And then I remember very well having 150 rand. I can't. Oh, I had washed somebody's car. Somebody asked me to wash their car, and I did a great job, and they gave me 150 rand. I found myself walking to Johannesburg Park Station with that 150 rand, and then I don't know what happened. I just happened. If you've seen Johannesburg Park Station before, for those of you that live in Johannesburg, if you have been inside of Johannesburg Park Station, the Park Station, this is where you have the train, long distance trains, as well as local or domestic trains, and then you also have long distance buses, and then if you cross about one, two, three streets, you will find taxis also long distance. So I was like, mind you, I'm wearing a short. It's December. I'm wearing a short. I'm wearing sandals. I'm wearing a vest. And yeah, of course, it's summer because it was hot. I was going to town. I think I wanted to spend the money on something that I needed. Tell me why I looked by the bus side, and then I had this thing that say buy a ticket and go to Durban. And that's exactly what I did. Yep. I went to the window. I bought myself, back then it was there was a bus called Translux. I went to the Translux office, purchased a ticket to Durban. Where was I going to when I was going to Durban? Because the last time I was at my place of birth, which is a township at like 35 minutes outside of the city of Durban, I don't even know where it's facing. Because I left when I was literally a baby, maybe like 3 years old at that time, literally. And now here I am in the bus, nice good 6 hours, just to Durban. Got to Durban around when it was dark, and I was like, yeah, tonight in your shorts, in your sandals and vest, and it was quite. It was not hot, but it was also not cold in Durban. And I got out, and I was like, I started asking around, where is Hammersdale from here? And they said, oh, you need to go this way and take this way, turn there, cross workshop. On the other side of workshop, you are Emma Tunane, meaning like the cemeteries. By the bridge, the entry bridge, those taxis are parked there. It's late at night. I did. I went there. I went there. I got there. The last taxi out that was leaving the city going to this township. Fortunately, I knew the units because it was unit three. I said, I'm going to unit three, Hammersdale. They said, okay, that's the taxi, and it's the last one. And one person was left before it was full, and then I was that last person. Change I had in my pocket. I didn't even know how much it was going to cost me from town to there. Fortunately, the 15 rand that I had on me, I think it was 11 rand to go there. And then I was like, oh, great. Off I went. Goodness only knew where I was going to. I went. I went, but somebody inside that taxi looked at me and said, you look very familiar. But the person that you look like is older. And I was like, who is that? Then they said, do you know Duduzi? I'm like, yeah, that's my father. They're like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah, that's my father's name, Duduzi. This individual took me, because I didn't know where I was going, right at the door of my father's home. This is where he was born and grew up, my grandmother's house. But I found my auntie there. What do you know? I'm a runaway. That's who I am. When I am in a situation, I run away. But once I run away, I've discovered is that solitude becomes my best friend. This is where I'm able to think. Because in order for me to have hopped on that bus, I had a moment of solitude while I was washing this individual's car. I had thoughts that were crossing my mind. Not once did I have the thought that say run away. I didn't. It was impulsive. So that's another thing about my loneliness is that I'm very impulsive with my thoughts. Those are the things that I discovered. So being alone is not a bad thing. It can benefit you in many different ways, and one of those ways is I don't know, landing you in a place that you didn't think you would land in, and only to find out the stars aligned and everything just kind of like conspired so that you pave a pathway for yourself, right? To develop yourself a pathway that you would be satisfied with. Because as I was living there, I didn't tell my mom. From what I understand, police were involved behind. I got missing. It was a mess back in Joburg. That's all I knew. And unfortunately, in 2007, nobody in my family had cell phones for me to call and say, oh, hey, hi, I'm all right. I'm actually at my dad's home. I did not have that. But for some reason, my mom did kind of like understood because she saw that I had changed. I was no longer the child that she's always known. I had changed. The social thought maybe I kind of like decided to do other stuff. This is not after, like a year later, by the way, a year later, I gotten a job in KwaZulu Natal, Durban, to be specific. This is my first job as a professional, very first job. And I knew that I wasn't going to get a job in Johannesburg because I did not want to work in Johannesburg because everything is there. So I decided to apply for a job while I was there, and then I promised that I was going to send all my documentation. But for some reason, I was given a leeway to withhold all those things. All I sent was a CV that was one pager with a cover letter. I did not substantiate with my qualifications and all that stuff that is accompanied by your CV. But I knew that when I sat down, because I sat down with myself in solitude, and I said to myself, if you get a call from this company, you are going to give them the best interview they have never seen before. And that's exactly what I did. And that's how I got the job. I gave That's when I realized as well that, man, you are a good speaker, logical, and all of that stuff. Things that I'm discovering because I used to think that I was stupid for some reason. I don't know why I always thought that I was stupid, and yet I was getting scholarships. I mean, I went through a very expensive high school. I think I told you guys this. An extremely expensive high school, 350,000 rand a year. My mom did not have that money to send me, but because I was getting scholarships, to go to the school that was being paid year by year until I matriculated. University, same story. My mom didn't pay a cent out of her pocket. But for some reason, I think maybe somebody once said to me I was stupid, and I held on to that. And I took it with me. I think maybe as well, whenever I be naughty as a kid, my mom would look at me like, why do you do stupid things? And maybe I believe that I was stupid, and yet things were the opposite of stupidity. Even to this very day, sometimes I do doubt myself, but because of solitude, I know myself. I know myself like I know the back of my hand. Of course, I need to know the back of my hand. But the point that I'm trying to make is facing my fears, facing myself, facing difficult words that were said to me. Even when I was living in Durban, that first job of mine, during lunchtime, I used to walk to the beachfront. It was not far, it was literally like 10 minutes walk to the beach, and I would sit there by myself and get the sea breeze, eat my lunch, and I would just listen to the ocean and that breeze in my head. All kinds of thoughts are going through me. And these are evaluative thoughts. I'm evaluating myself. I'm asking myself questions. At some point, I even felt like a fraud because I sent a CV that did not have substantiating papers. I didn't. And here I am. This is a great job, by the way, a fantastic job, pays well. And there I'm feeling like a fraud, and I'm thinking maybe I should go and resign and just tell them I'm sorry. Da, da, da. I think at one point I did do that. In fact, I did do that, but I did not do it with the CEO. I did it with like my supervisor. My supervisor was like, "Don't be stupid. If they didn't ask and they're still not asking, they haven't said anything to me. So why you want to destroy a great job like this? And you're doing a fantastic job here, and I don't think they're gonna let you go anyways." I was like, maybe I'm overcompensating as well because I did not have those substantiative papers and all of that stuff. But I found myself getting more and more and more and more. First, I was highly critical of myself, highly critical. High, when I say highly, everything about me was wrong, everything. But as I was living this life of solitude, I began to realize that no, mm-mm, I am the total opposite of what I am thinking about myself. I may not get reaction or feedback from other people, except the only feedback I've always gotten without a fail is how good of a thinker I was. Nobody said, "Oh, you look so handsome. Oh, you're attractive." All those things that validate you as a human, because that's what we do. I learned that as human beings, we want to be validated. Our vanity must be validated, skin tone validated, what beautiful teeth you have validated, how, what, and what not, and da 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 da, validated. I wanted some sort of validation apart from your IQ is good. I got so sick of hearing it that you have a good IQ. And I'm like, how about how I look? I doubted that. Like, oh, maybe I'm just that person. And also, the second thing that I always got praised of is my accent. If you haven't noticed, my accent is not quite what South Africans have when it comes to accents. And I've explained it before. If you want to, I'm just going to run across it why I have this accent that I have. The schools that I went to, my first two English teachers were American, African American ladies. One was from Philly. I think the other one, I know it's from New York or Chicago. I can't remember, but I knew the one from Philly because I grew in her presence, and she was my class teacher as well. So of course, the accent that you get taught in is the accent that your brain picks, and you grow with it. I don't know what the magic about that is all about. Same thing when I go to high school. In high school, my English teacher, in fact, all my teachers were either from Ireland, Scotland, or England. And so, of course, I would pick up some of the English accent, but my so-called American accent was more stronger. Sometimes, even right away when I speak, people always ask me, "Which part of America are you from?" And I'm like, "Ngumzulu Papa." What? Those are the two things that I always got validation from. That, oh, you're so good at this. Oh, you're so good at that. But when I'm by myself, these are the things that I began to embrace. I began to like about myself. That irrespective of how the world may perceive my physical looks, but I know that I have a beautiful mind. I know I have a beautiful mind. It bothers me a lot. And I have shared in my main channel that I've got a brain that races. Like, it's like, I don't know, things run across my mind. And the reason why sometimes I speak very fast is so that I catch up with my thoughts. If I don't catch up with my thoughts, then I get confused. Now when it's time for me uh to let it out through my mouth, I get confused, and my brain is already gone far, and it doesn't come back and say, "Hey bro, keep up with me." This is what I said. It doesn't repeat. And in most cases, when I'm writing, you get to see that I there are words that I'm missing. You can tell that I'm telling some. My report is telling something, but there are words that are missing. The reason why there'll be words missing is because I was typing way too slow, and my brain was just on its own. So these are the things when you are in solitude, you get to learn about yourself, and then you do your best to either mitigate them or arrest them or try to control these things. I don't know what's you'll find that if you give yourself time. I think somewhere even in the Bible, it talks about be still. Something powerful about that piece in the Bible. Be still. For me, being still, it means being in a room where you are quiet. But there's a philosopher by the name of Blaise Pascal. I don't know if you ever heard of him. And this is what he said once about humanity. Let me please read it. It says, all of humanity's problems stem from man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. We fear ourselves by being still. Now, I don't know if you've ever attempted to meditate. Just be quiet and remove everything out of your brain. But there's always something that happens when you do that. Your brain is not quiet. You sometimes even think you heard something when you didn't hear anything. And you try to go back and be still and then remove these brain blocks and these voices in your head. Why? It's because there are things sometimes that we fear that if I sit still, something is going to say, "Hi, remember me?" That trauma that you were always suppressing, or that thing that was said to you when you were 5 years old, or that thing that was done to you when you were 17 years old by an uncle or something like that. There is always something that we fear. That is why I believe we do not take advice or heed on that verse in the Bible. Be still. But it does continue where it says, "Be still and know that I am your Lord, your God," or something like that. I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong. Because when you are still, I mean, I'm a meditator, and I think I'm also a great manifester as well. Because I have said, even here, I'm not a person that kneels down and pray, but I'm mostly a person that sits still and meditates. And I feel that I am mostly effective when I'm still, and then I'm able to clear my mind of every single thing. And then when I am done an hour later, I feel highly juvenated and inspired now to start listening to my thoughts. And when I'm listening to my thoughts, all the ones that are frivolous and stupid, according to me, they are discarded. The ones that I know will build or affect me in a positive way are the ones that go down in my journal. Being still or being alone, because that's being still. You don't have people around you. You don't have people coming with different opinions and coming with different solutions and coming and changing things and all of that stuff. The enemy of a human, according to Blaise Pascal's quote, is that our greatest enemy is our mind. Our mind is a problem because it always carries problems. And sometimes, if you let me give you a simple example. One of the reasons why I don't like texts like WhatsApp or anything like that, I am over analytical. If your text is not contextual, I have a tendency of interrogating the meaning behind these texts. Like, what do you mean by this? And I get built up because I don't understand what are you saying to me? Because I learned over the years, because as I said, I went to the schools that I went to, and then I learned after I was done with school that what I was learning in school, other kids in government school were not learning what I was learning. Some of these things are figures of speech, and I'm a person who speaks in figures of speech. And I get misunderstood when I say something in a figure of speech, and next thing you find this poor guy going to HR to lay a complaint, and the HR, him or herself, went to a government school, puts together a disciplinary commission against me, and then of course there will be all these panel of discipliners who happens to have gone to the same schools that I went to. And then when they look at the charge sheet, they'll be like, this is a figure of speech. Why did we charge him on a figure of speech? Those are the things that now, as a loner, I got to learn that not everybody got the same level of education as I did. So now learn what it was taught in government schools so that you do not speak to people in this manner. And I am telling you, a lot of white people in what do you call this in corporate world get into trouble with speaking in figures of speeches. Now, should they be solitary as well? I think maybe they should take that journey too, so they learn not to speak a higher grade English, as it will be called, but at a level that everybody understands. That is why today, when I speak, I make sure that even the guy that did not go to school but understands or can speak English, they can understand me. So it developed it's not a fear, but an understanding that not everybody has the same privilege as myself when it comes to language, when it comes to comprehension, and also when it comes to even putting things together in a form of a report, etc., and so on. Those are the things that you learn in solitude. You learn about humans because we are different. And the old Clantis thought this is inexcusable. This is inexcusable that you did not know this or you do not know that. Da, 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 da. I had to learn in solitude to bring myself down, be humble, sometimes even be a grassroots if I have to. Why? Because solitude has taught me that. I understand that as human beings, we are what is defined as social animals or social beings. We cannot be by ourselves. And if you look at the concept of solitary confinement in prisons, when I don't know, I hear people that go to solitary confinement, they kick, scream, and they do not want to find themselves there. And if they are thrown in solitary confinement, when they come out, they are totally different people. It's either they've gotten worse or they learn something. Because we know why when you are there as a prisoner, maybe you are a hardcore prisoner. I'm just imagining you just by yourself and all those ghosts that you've taken out, suddenly they flood your head. Or maybe they are afraid of the real truth about themselves. As a result, they do not want to find themselves confronting themselves in solitary confinement. But Pascal says that is our problem. We do not want, we don't have the ability to sit quietly in a room by ourselves. And we are missing out on the opportunities and the benefits of being alone in solitude. Meditation. If you don't want to be alone, then put aside an hour where you just by yourself. I get it. You're probably a parent or parents and you've got kids running around. How do you do that? I will say to you, the best time, I think I've said this before on this channel, the best time to be by yourself is at 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning. You get up at 3 in the morning, give yourself that, because at 3 in the morning, I believe, I'm not saying it's a fact, whether you are getting up to pray, or you're getting up to meditate, or you're getting up to hymn or sing or journal, I believe that there's an energy around that time of the morning, particularly when you are a spiritual being. This, I believe the spiritual realm around that time, it is wide open for you to make your supplementaries, meaning your requests. So if you're a Christian, when you pray to God, you are supplementing, right? That God, I da da da, what. I believe at 3 in the morning, it's easily accepted. Why? Because there's no noise going on. Everybody is sleeping. Versus when you do that at 5 in the morning, where the first thing people do before they go to the bathroom is go down on their knees and pray. And all this noise now suddenly is filled up all over the universe. And then maybe your prayer falls through the cracks and you wonder, why am I've been praying for this forever? It's because of timing. Versus if you wake up at 3 in the morning, trust and believe it, try it. Try it. I'm not challenging you. I'm just saying, just try it. Wake up at 3 in the morning, pray if you're a prayer person. If you are a meditator, manifest at 3 in the morning. Watch and see in the next 7 to 3 months. I mean, next 7 days to 3 months, if that prayer or whatever it is that you're trying to manifest does not happen. I'm just saying, 3 a.m. is the best time for you to get up. How did I discover that? I discovered that because of solitude. I would meditate before I go to bed. Instead, I'll feel a little bit frustrated. I would meditate during the day and it's too noisy. I would meditate at 1 in the morning, my body is tired. But I want, how it all happened to me was an accidental. I woke up one morning, like I think it was 5 to 3, and I had this aha thing. Sat down where I do my meditation and I meditated, and things started happening. Like, when you pray and your prayer comes true, do do you understand that first, that fear at first, like, it happened. Oh my, it, and then the magical feeling thereafter, and before you accept and then seriously celebrate and start sharing your blessing to other people, that, oh my goodness, I prayed about this and it happened. That magical feeling is the same magical feeling that you also feel when you are in solitude, because when you're in solitude, there are no doubts. Those brain blocks that says, it's not going to happen. You're fooling yourself. There are always going to be those voices that say, you're wasting your time. It's not going to happen. I mean, how long have you been doing this? How long have you been? But when you are in solitude, you've removed everything. Your mind is empty. literally empty. And all those brain blocks are gone. And since they are gone, that is when faith evades. And that's how your prayer becomes true because you know already that this is going to happen. I just shared with you guys that I had 150 rand. I was going to the city of Johannesburg. I think I was going to get shoes or something. It's this is December. And then my head looks at Translac bus and I head in there and everything started falling into place magically. Why? Because I did it in faith without me realizing, without me debating with myself, like, ah man, come on, this is how sometimes you find a depiction of a white angel on the right shoulder and the one that's that depiction, like one is saying it's not gonna happen, the other is like try it, the other is like try it, who knows? All of that you don't have to go through it when you are in solitude, when you are alone. I'm not encouraging you to be a loner, but I am encouraging you to adopt an hour of solitude in your life. Just an hour. You will see how things transform in your life. You become a better person to yourself. You become a better parent if you're a parent. You become a better colleague amongst your colleagues. You think clearer and you do things with purpose and intentions. And there's always an end result every time when you are done with your solitude, or what some people will call it quiet time. Some people utilize their quiet time by taking some kind of religious text, whether it's a Bible or a Quran or whatever other religions use, to be quiet and just be with their God without any noises. That is why I feel the reason why the Bible also talks about prayer being something that's between you and God, that you should not climb on top of the roof of a house and start praying. I don't know if you know that scripture. I know we do the opposite of it currently. Prayer is for quiet time where it is you and God, just the two of you. Not when you are, I don't know what we do these days. Not I'm not judging, do whatever makes you happy, great, I support you. But if you look at the true sense of our belief systems, it all require quiet time. The Bible itself says, be still and know that I'm your Lord, your God. How are you going to know that if you are not going to be still? Okay, I know I'm just using the Bible as an example because I've read it before. I've read it before. Like I said, I am mostly a spiritual person than I am a religious person. These are the things that I discovered when I was alone, that I am more in tuned spiritually than I am religiously. Because religiously, in most cases, I am taking what somebody standing in a pulpit disseminating information to me versus me sitting with myself and my time with the higher power and actually receiving information and executing this information as per as I perceive it, right? I'm not saying I receive it in a form of a voice. I've never heard a voice before. Never, ever, ever, ever had a voice before. However, I would have a feeling. This feeling. And when I execute the feeling, boom, it happens exactly the way I felt it. So that is my point of view when it comes to solitude. But there's other stuff that I also wrote down that may also assist this on this topic if it's something that you want to take with yourself. Like for example, when you are, for example, I'm just going to talk about loners now, not the benefits of loneliness. Yeah, the benefits. The first one is You always react maturely. Your emotional intelligence is always high as a person who is alone. When I see somebody, when they try to, I have a tendency of walking away. As petty as I am, I'm a cancer because cancers are petty as hell. So I'm sometimes I would want to be my victim, and I would utilize my intelligence to I don't know what it was going to. I know you're going to be traumatized, but in most cases, I'm a person that walks away. I walk away. Why? Because as a loner, you learn how to control your mind, your feelings. You learn to control your rage as well, because you feel it when it builds. It starts from your stomach and it goes up. Yours is to say, beast, go back to sleep. I'm very good with that. Unless when I feel like today I just want to be petty, you know. The second one is creativity. I don't think if I did not take the journey of self-discovery, I would have a YouTube channel, let alone stimulate my brain and my creativity and be able to face you guys the way I am facing you right now. I don't think I would have had that. The third thing, as a loner, in most cases, we're very observant. But because I'm a cancer, as a cancer, we are super observant people. We walk in a room and we are quiet. We don't say anything. Why? Because we are trying to perceive the vibe. Number one, the energy in the room, and if the energy is all wrong, we leave like immediately. But we also observe different kinds of people, which person in this room I feel gravitated towards. If I'm gravitated towards you, that means my spirituality, my vibes are attracted to yours. And that's how then we interact, connect, and become best of buddies while we are there at that time. That is why people always at the end of the day will be like, oh, Clantis, man, when you walked in, I thought you were stuck up. Usually they use the word be. I thought you were stuck up, not realizing that no, I was perceiving energies when I walked into the room. As a loner, you become very good at observation as well as perceiving different kinds of energies. The fourth one is yeah, you become the greatest teacher as well as a loner. Your past has taught you things, and those things then they became or they manifested into wisdom. And as a result, when people come to you to seek advice, you always give the best of advice, the best. So that's another thing about being a loner, the benefits of it. The fifth one, the ability of talking to yourself. Sometimes I even call myself the B word if I make wrong decisions. Or maybe I was thinking of it and I'm like, come on, babe. I do. I do. When you speak to yourself, it's not because you're crazy. It's because there is a vehicle that you are driving, and then you are at a T junction, and then you need to make a decision because you are in a new place. You know nothing about this place, and if you turn left or right, you may actually go and hit a hill and and plunge. Or if you turn left, you are going to the right direction. That is why your intuitions kick in when you are talking with yourself, making decisions. Your intuitions, your inner self will say, this is the right decision. And so you don't find yourself punishing yourself. Like, I told you turn right. Why did you turn left? Those sort of things. That's what loners do. The sixth one, problem solver, a solver. You solve problems. Obviously, it's kind of like tied with the previous one, talking to yourself, because while you're talking to yourself, you come across solutions you believe will work the best. Okay, you take all of these to work. Your work. I mean, your colleagues look at you like. I mean, I've gone to a point where. Okay, wait. Let me put it this way. Let me be more practical. How many of you are part of the YouTube short community? If you are there, some of you already know that Clantis, YouTube asked him to have a 5 minute corner where I do certain things with over 1,000 members of the YouTube community. I do. Why? Because of how I say things, how I solve problems, and how all the content creators come and say, Clantis, I need your assistance here. Hey, they trust me. Why? Because I've got these solutions. Sometimes the solution has YouTube has never provided any kind of solution to it, but I will come up with a solution. I will come up with a solution. I will also show you I'm just trying to also substantiate what I'm saying. That when you are a person that is a loner, I'll show you. I'll show you. I was just having a conversation with YouTube itself. This is a WhatsApp from a YouTube insider, like a person that works inside of YouTube. And this is the question they asked me yesterday. And I will read you the response because this is true. Um, they say, Hey, Clantis, how are you? I want to ask you about your honest experience with working with brands on YouTube. Have you had any opportunities or challenges in comparison to Reels and TikTok? Now, of course, many content creators on YouTube do not get brand opportunities. But this is my response. I said, "Hey Jesse, sorry, I'm only responding because yesterday I was voting, so I was there the entire day. I didn't see this, but I said this is my response. Personally, I think brands don't consider YouTubers for their campaigns unless they are with Instagram and or TikTok. In our last sessions on YouTube in December, I did mention this through the representatives of brands that were there to speak to us. And I pointed out to them that they consider mostly TikTokers and Instagrammers for brand campaigns. Most YouTubers always make sure that they push harder on TikTok and Instagram to get brand collaborations. I've also witnessed YouTubers making over 100,000 Rand in brand campaigns on TikTok and Instagram, but never on YouTube. You never get to see videos of content creators sharing about brand campaigns that they've gotten because of the YouTube channels. I'm not saying that YouTubers aren't approached by brands. I don't know, but I've never seen a video on YouTube sharing this type of information. I personally don't think they take us seriously. I could be wrong. That was my response. So YouTube responded today and say, Hey, Clantis, thank you so much for this great information. We have noted it. Solitude is one of those things. Now I'm getting YouTube itself asking me questions. Why? Because I'm a person, when I'm in solitude, I observe things and I use my intuitions to make sure that I do not miscalculate with my thoughts when I disseminate what's in here, right? So that is what I wanted to submit to you as proof, okay? And then the seventh thing is no low self-esteem issues. Some people think because you are a loner, you are struggling from self-esteem. Now, there's a difference between a loner and an introvert. Introversy as well, it's not because a person has issues with their self-esteem. Sometimes it's a choice to be alone, and other people, yes, they may struggle with self-esteem issues. Okay, so that is very important to understand that loneliness is not equals to self-esteem problems. Number eight, it's useful to be a loner on many spheres. You are healthier, you are more thoughtful, you are stronger in setting your goals as a loner, and of course, you are always goal oriented. Number nine, the value of being alone. The value of being alone or being a loner is that people benefit from you because the moment you meet with people and there is like colleagues. I mean, I don't know. Even back in what do you call it, university, I would find people coming to me and say, "I want to work with you. I want to be in your study group." And in most cases, I'm always like, "No, no." At work, everybody wants to be in my team because once we are together, we become the best performers, etc., and so on. Number 10, readers and writers. That's what we do. I read and I write a lot. I enjoy those things. It's part of relaxation. I quit television about 4 years ago. Yeah, during the pandemonia, I quit television. It was not benefiting me in any way, and also it was not helping my journey of self-discovery because I'm always in front of it. Okay. The other one is number 11. Best believe it. Best believe it. We make the best of friends, real friends, the loners. We make the best of friends when we end up with friends or decide to have friends. Okay. Number 12, we have the best social skills. That's true. As a loner and a person that is a recluse, when I'm with people, it's always like, must you go? Like, yeah, my social battery is flattened out. I gotta go recharge. Which is true, by the way, you do have a social battery. It's as short as an iPhone battery. Let me tell you that. Number 13, well connected with the spiritual realm and higher power. I've already discussed that earlier, that we are very spiritual. We are very connected with our spiritual realm. Why? Because when we are in solitude, whether we are praying or we are manifesting or we are meditating, things happen. Things do happen. Number 14, we love children, but we don't have them, which is very funny. And children happen to gravitate towards us the most. I Somebody used to say to me, the reason why kids gravitate towards you is because you have a pure heart. I don't know how true that is. They say kids gravitate more towards people with pure hearts than somebody that is frustrated, always angry, and having all kinds of negativity. And children, they have a tendency of not gravitating. I'm telling you, if you have a child that cries a lot, and I take that child in my hand, they literally keep quiet. Within 2 minutes, they're asleep. It's some. I always thought I have magical hands or something. Like, how does this happen? Until somebody explained it to me and said, because you have a pure heart, and children, babies love a pure heart. They gravitate towards pure hearts. So I don't know. I think I had a neighbor at one point who came in the middle of the night, knocked on my door, and said, "Well, do your magic." Took the baby. Boom. Everybody had a good night's sleep after that. What else that we do? Oh, yeah, we love kids. We also love animals. I'm not a person that likes to have them physically, but I love animals from a distance. Yeah, I do. I do. I think maybe I don't know. I've been bitten by a dog too many times, but I love dogs for some reason. The other thing as well, being alone is not fear of people, but a lifestyle. I think maybe that is another admission that one needs to make, that being a loner is not because I fear people. Yes, I fear rejection. That's for sure. And I feel like if I'm by myself, there's no need for me to meet people and then get rejected, and then my worst nightmare comes to fruition. But I also think it's also a lifestyle that I am really enjoying. I enjoy solitude. I enjoy being by myself. By the way, don't cry for me, Argentina. The 15th thing is to do not require validation. I've already mentioned this earlier. We don't need validation whatsoever. We already know ourselves for us to be like, oh, well, no, we already know ourselves. Number 16, best results when doing things, projects, and assignments. Yeah, with the best performers. All the loners will, like I said, people want to be in your team, which is something else that I don't like, the word teamwork. I'm not a person that wants to be with people. I like to do things by myself. And I'll tell you something. The thing that I don't like working with other people is because you'll make a decision about something and somebody goes home and decides something totally different without first giving a chance to what we decided and execute it. And when it fails, then we use your idea. With me, my favorite number is number seven. I love number seven. So I always have plan A to plan G. I make sure that I have seven plans. If this fails, we jump to this one. If that way fails, we jump to this one. If the seventh one fails, then it was not meant for me to pursue it anyways. Loneliness makes you realize those things that you are not a beggar, and you must always listen to the things that resist you because there's a reason. Sometimes a God, universe, higher power, whichever one you believe in, is giving you a message that this is wrong. Don't do it. Okay. Number 17, hardly ever on social media. I do have Instagram. On my Instagram, I act crazy because when you're a loner, me, I'm just going to speak about myself. I discovered that I'm actually funny. I'm quite hilarious. And usually, my hilarity, I will put it in a video, either through a sound or maybe me just saying something silly in the hope that somebody is going to be entertained. I don't use my social media to post anything else. Me posing, me doing the stuff that other people do on social media. My Facebook automatically when I post on Instagram, especially what do you call this? Is it feeds and the stories? They automatically go to my Facebook. I don't. I'm not on Facebook. I've tried. I just can't. Back in the day, before all this, like in 2015, going backwards to 2008, I was very much active on Facebook. That's because I was still kind of like enjoying being around people, talking to people, while I was still also going through the journey of self discovery. All right. By the way, that journey started in 2004, but in its fullness in 2007. Number 18, hate small talk. Do not engage me in small talk. I will not even give you the time of day. I'm not that person. Number 19, hates the word team player. I already mentioned why. Decisions. People change decisions, and I hate that. I told you guys yesterday that I am not good with change. I just don't like change. Number 20, love my bed to myself. Yeah, I love my bed. I love being waking up to myself, by myself, with myself. Yeah, some people like, but what about love? What about romance? What about, and then of course this also does have a tendency of sparking curiosity about my sexuality. Is he gay? Is he straight? Is he but to be all of that, you still need to have a partner, don't you? That wakes up with you in the morning, don't you? So it's I always found it very interesting. Always found it interesting. It always entertained me, to be honest with you. I get entertained when people are confused about my sexuality. But one thing I'll tell you for sure, I do have tendencies of being soft. I mean, I've always been a softie. I speak with my hands for emphasis. I do facial expressions. And so people sometimes be like, easy. And I love that. And they will never know. I've decided no. Let's play this game. I enjoy this game. I mean, when you come up, what's going to be the fun of saying, "Oh, I'm this," or "I'm that," or "I'm that." I love that. So I'll keep myself entertained. The other one is walk away from drama. I don't like small talk, dramas. No, that's not my thing. 22, no need to impress. Once upon a time, I mean, I did sports. I had an athletic body. Um, some would call the S with the Y at the end. But because I don't need to impress anybody, I do as I please. I eat what I want. And if I gain weight, I gain the weight. If I feel like I need to go and get myself fit, I go to the gym. I'm not to impress anybody. There's no need to impress anybody when you are a loner. So all that stuff doesn't affect me at all. 23, more in touch with my feelings, intuitions. I'm able to read people. I can tell a liar from a distance. Maybe that is why I do the Senzo Mewa case, because I was like, no, y'all are lying about other kids. What do you call this? Other parents' kids. Number 24, great listener. I would listen to you till the sun comes up and go down if you are still talking. Why? Because I'm also perceiving all this information so I can give you the best advice that you can execute and never come back to me. Okay. Like I said, with being a loner, sometimes it's a response of trauma, response of hurt, or whatever the case might be. But my last point is we are also powerful manifestors. I'm repeating this one so that it is also sinkable. By manifesting, when you pray, you are actually manifesting. Some people don't want to believe that. That's okay. But that's another way of saying prayer when you say manifest. So because you are using faith to transform something that is not there for it to be real. I don't know if I'm making any sense. Yeah, well, that's my story for you today. If you have questions, please feel free to ask. And in the meantime, while you are busy typing, let me go to the live chat before I say good night. Thank you guys so much. I mean, you are here present today. I love that. Thanks. Gunning with Betty. Hi, my friend. What's up, my friend? If you're still around, Gunning with Betty says we work at work. we there's any with a full stop. I'm not sure what that means. Like that's on period, I think. Cynthia. Hi, Cynthia. How are you? How are you? How are you, Cynthia? Got me with Ben say, oh man, holding her head in fear. Casey, hello, Casey, and let me mark the register. Tick. Casey, I hope you are all doing well. We are doing very well. This is my second last day doing this challenge, you guys. Though I'm so excited. Pumzilla says, hi, Clantis. I think sometimes you must have a meeting or conversations with yourself. I love that. I do. It's my favorite stuff that I do when I'm showering, when I'm cooking, when I'm cleaning. That's when I talk to myself and I would stop and like, B, come on. What the nonsense you talking about? Tini Aina, hi, hi. I'm so happy to see you here. Good evening, brother Clancy. How are you doing, my sister Tiri Anna? Tiri Anna says, I personally pray at 3 a.m. There we go. I love that. It just comes without struggle. Like the results, please let me know what the results are sometimes. Not necessarily what you prayed for, but the feeling that you get yourself as a person that is done praying at 3 in the morning. For me, when I'm done with my meditation, it's as if I'm walking on cloud nine. I feel so good, rejuvenated, like I could conquer anything. Like, seriously. Portia, hi Portia. Good evening, Clantis. How are you, Portia? It's good to see you. Welcome. Hello, hello. What was a loners club here? What did I miss? You also a loner? Well, at this time, yeah, you missed out a lot because you came at 8:56. But anyways, it's not that much. You can always check the first half on the replay. Wako all says loners were the happiest during COVID. Oh, I wanted it to be forever. I love the Convolvo. Convolvo for me was, I don't know, heaven. Like, what? I loved it. Honestly speaking, I loved it. I agree with you, Wako, or Convolvo time. That's the pandemonium. It was great. The Zulu goddess, how are you doing? Blessings, business partners. Blessing to you too, business partner. Also in the loner gang. Oh, really? I never would have thought. I would never have thought living in California, particularly LA. I was thinking like outgoing and all of that stuff. But yeah, well, it's true what they say. Don't judge a band by its name. Love my own company, but I'm a storyteller by nature, hence my fascination with content creation. Yeah, no, absolutely. Loners tell the best stories. The best stories. Loners. Loners are generally impacts, absolutely. So we are not social. Absolutely. We love our own space and enjoy our own space, and that's where we thrive the most. And then the world, when they get to see our final products, it's blown away like, wow. Running with basic, I'm here. Oh, thank you, my friend, for sticking around. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much. Guys, I think I'm done. I have another meeting that I have. You guys did see, those that have been here earlier. I have a meeting. I have a meeting that I have to run to. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. I don't know. Do what you may with our conversation today. I'm not encouraging you to be a loner, but I am encouraging you to steal some quiet time for yourself, and you'll see what you are going to learn. In the first year, it's not going to be easy, especially when you're meditating, trying to meditate, and all these thoughts and thinking somebody is knocking or somebody said something when nobody said anything. Is those ghosts in your head. You will get rid of them subsequently, but it is something that you have to do consistently as well so that you get good at it. But start doing so. Have that 1 hour, and it will change a lot in your life. But as for the loners and the loners gang, let's keeping on. Because we do enjoy our own company. I mean, I love being by myself. I'm at my best. I'm the happiest when I'm by myself. I'm the most creative as well, hardworking as well when I am by myself. So if one perceives that to be negative, there's nothing I can do for you. But I can only tell you that it's just bliss all the way. You're never in trouble. You always have money. That's another advantages that I did not mention. You never have anybody calling you and telling you, "Oh, so and so said what about you?" You don't get those calls. Anyways, that is my story today. Let me quickly run and have this meeting. I'll see you guys tomorrow with my final thoughts about the 30 days was flying the SA flag had to represent. Yeah, I love those pictures. I was always checking you out on Instagram, and I was like, yeah, there goes our girl in LA doing her thing, and all those festivals that you were attending. I loved it. I loved it. Well done to you. Yeah, so I will tell you guys what are my thoughts about going live for 30 days. What did I learn? All that stuff. We'll talk about it tomorrow as my final live stream before yeah, reality kicks in, going back to 3 videos a week. I don't know if you guys noticed that video I said you must create, the one that why I post videos no one watches. The views are there, they're still there. So I had to test it out and check how it works. So they're still there. Create that video for yourself. All right. Anyways, guys, thank you so much. I gotta go. I keep saying I'm going and I'm not. Good night, my friend Betty.